What is up, RotoGrinders? Television Tuesday. We'll go ahead and drop that first clue on the scroll, taking you all the way up to 7:30 on the East Coast, because that's when NBA locks. We're talking basketball now. We yield to crunch time around 6:30 or so. Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, leader of the Juggalo Nation. He's got you covered as far as the NBA. You got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, two-time millionaire winner, taking you home as far as baseball lock. Right around 7 o'clock, 7:05. 11 gamer, kind of a big boy slate for baseball today. I was going to say the association, but that's basketball. Basketball we'll talk about later on. Sprint slate on DK, a fun sprint slate. I think it's a 6 gamer, 7:30, 8 o'clock. FanDuel did include the 10 o'clock game. Myself, Bobby Gomes, on a April 1st, talking some baseball. How are things, Bobby?
Pretty good. Nice to be talking baseball and not in the NBA. I'm happy about that.
That was the reason why we were a few minutes late, because we were arguing about who is more, I guess we were having a different conversation. Who's more skillful, who's more athletic, basketball players and baseball players. And I think we were having a different conversation, because I was on the side of basketball players. You and producer Steve outnumbered me, siding with baseball. But
we already said it's more the athlete is the NBA player, but it's harder to hit a baseball, right?
I guess that's a very well, not now with a torpedo bat. That now it makes it so much easier. Right? That's what I'm told. You get a torpedo bat, and any schlub can bang out a homer. No,
that's a very interesting narrative for tonight's slate, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of concocted. A lot of the players are buying into it, though. Like, a lot of the players are ordering bats. I know Dansby Swanson apparently had one or is using one. Bryce Harper is ordering one. I don't think Aaron Judge is using one. This is an additional piece of data that we need. Who's using that torpedo bat and who's not? They asked John Carlos Stanton about it. That was the reason why he got hurt. And he's like, look, I'm not going to give you a story. I'm not going to give you that answer. When I come back, I'm going to continue to use a torpedo bat, which also suggests, like, this is not brand new. I don't know why it's become like this big conversation. I suppose because the Yankees.
Because the Yankees broadcaster said it on the broadcast the other day.
Yeah. And again, I mentioned, like, there's all the homers the Yankees are hitting. Aaron Judge is doing it without the torpedo bat. He's also really strong and really athletic and really skilled. First clue is scrolling, by the way, Television Tuesday. Give that answer. What TV show we are talking about in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. That's how you get yourself. You get a week free of RG Premium. All the bells, all the whistles. You get the optimizer. You get Cheeseisgood. You get his article. You get all the content, the expert survey, not just for football, not just for baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, MMA, everything with the exception of NASCAR. That's a la carte. But you get yourself a week free just by telling me what television show these clues are hinting at. One guess per clue drop. There's no MMEing. All right, Bobby. 11 gamer. Oh, let me go ahead and drop Ross weather. Nothing really alarming, right? Nothing alarming as of right now as far as rain, as far as precipitation. It is officially yellow in, I guess that's Sacramento for the Athletics. Some scattered showers around, especially early. A delay or late start is possible, but I don't really think we're considering I don't think we're really considering pitchers there too much. At least I'm not. Well, no, I shouldn't. I should take that back. Justin Steele. Severino, pretty good pitcher, but we talked pre-show. I think we're both on the Cubs, more so around Severino. We saw that, the ballpark there in Sacramento. Obviously, you can't assume that's the way it's going to play going forward, but 20 runs there last night combined. There was a lot of runs scored. The A's did roll out a catcher to throw baseballs in the ninth inning. Their bullpen got worked pretty hard. The Cubs smashed. One of the big storylines in this season, the two big ballpark venues, Tampa Bay out of Tropicana in the humidity, especially when it starts getting hot here in Florida, playing in Steinbrenner Field, the Yankees ballpark, Mile High Ballpark, the exact same dimensions as Yankee Stadium. And then, of course, the Athletics moving out of the Oakland Coliseum, which is massive. And also the foul ground territory. This is a ballpark in the PCL, the Pacific Coast League, much more hitter friendly. So at least in one sample, we were talking about this, Bobby, like maybe the projections and things of that sort aren't necessarily capturing that. And we want to be early as opposed to being late on it. Can't assume it's going to be goofy every single night, but seems like a slight edge we have right now. Any thoughts on that? Any thoughts as far as tonight's 11-game slate for baseball? Big boy slate. Let's call it a big boy slate. Overall thoughts.
So both fields, Steinbrenner Field, I think is one of them that you have to consider with Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. And then obviously where Oakland and Chicago are playing tonight in Sacramento. What's the name of the park? Do we have a name of the park? In
Sacramento?
Yeah.
It is called I got it somewhere in my brain, but it's not. It's a health company, I believe.
Well, whatever. We don't have real weather edge for it. It does seem like it plays small. Obviously, we've seen Chicago last night. Chicago had all my stuff last night, and I was a little scared to play them because I didn't know how many Dodgers I should be getting, too, because the Dodgers were starting at the same time, and I got off some of my Chicago stacks for Dodgers, but have majority Chicago. Tonight, I think it's Steinbrenner Field, trying to really figure that one out. Similar dimensions to Yankee Stadium. I think they're the exact same, according to Dean earlier on our phone call. And, I don't know. Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay seems to be good hitting weather there. So I think that 7:05 game, I'm going to have some Pittsburgh stacks. And then for pitchers, maybe some, obviously, Logan Gilbert, but Chris Sale's on the slate as well. You talked about basically because Gilbert starts ahead of Sale, if you have some early stacks and maybe the Pirates don't do me as well as I want them to, I can swap to some Sale, and hopefully Sale has a sailing game versus the Dodgers. But he's going to be way less owned than Gilbert, but has significant upside.
Yeah, I wrote about that today in the survey. If you look at pitchers as far as ownership as of right now, very, very clear cut, not even a conversation. Logan Gilbert will be the most popular pitcher, 43% of teams, 22 pitchers throwing baseballs from the start, and he's going to get almost half the field. We got Justin Steele at 23%, Sale at 20%. So Gilbert 2 times as owned as far as Sale. Chris Sale, of course, coming off a Triple Crown season, lowest ERA, most wins, most strikeouts. If you look at his numbers as far as this slate, very clear cut, the biggest K rate, not even a conversation, 32.1%. Gilbert 27 and change. Of course, Gilbert has the better matchup. Chris Sale, nobody wakes up and says, "Hey, I want to pick on the Dodgers," but if it's going to be a pivot away from Gilbert, and you could, if your hitters aren't doing well and you have Gilbert waiting there on layaway, Gilbert can go complete game shutout and strike out 27 dudes, and guess what? You're not passing anybody else because they all have Gilbert too. So rooting for something goofy. Sale certainly has a chance to be the top pitcher on the slate, and Gilbert can just get beat up. He can get BABIP. Who knows? But yeah, and a lot of it's pending on. I would only pivot if, say, you have, like you said, like a Yankee stack or Tampa, and you're not going to know exactly, depending on what time that those games, maybe they're over, maybe it's the 6th or 7th inning, and they're struggling. They can certainly catch up later, but I like the idea of pivoting. And if you could do it inversely as well, like if you happen to have a stack that's smashing, and for whatever reason that particular lineup has Sale and it does not have Gilbert, I would move to Gilbert. Go that way. There's no reason now all of a sudden force people to catch you and get the quote unquote best play. And Logan Gilbert taking on Detroit. A little bit of game theory there for the people. Are you going to be over the field on Gilbert? I think I am. I'm just going to play it because it falls off. It falls off pretty quickly, and we still have fives. We're in a spot where we have some ones and we have some fives, right? The fives are pretty clear. It's pretty ugly. And there's 22 dudes throwing baseballs, but I mean Kyle Hendricks, Chad Patrick. I know Harrington is a bit of a prospect, but there's a bunch of them just not playing. Liberatore, I'm just not playing a lot of these guys, and it thins out really quickly. So I'm just gonna be I'm gonna be a chalk donkey. I'm gonna play a bunch of Logan Gilbert, and I think he's gonna be fine. If not fine, one of the top 3 pitchers in the slate.
I think it's Gilbert, Sale. I think I'd go Michael King. with San Diego. I think those are my probably 3 preferred. Justin Steele for the price, probably I'll have more King than Steele, and I mean Steele than King, and just save the 500 in like my team with my teams. But if I had to rank them, those would be my top 3. Gilbert, I'm going to be significantly over the field. Be over the field on Sale. I think you play Gilbert and Sale lineups together tonight. Then it's between King and Steele. I think King is in the better spot, but I'm going to have more Steele just for the savings, like I said. Then you can go to like maybe a Corbin Burns and Barrios. I think that would round out my pool pretty much. So I think I have 6 pitchers in total.
I think it's worth noting, like, we have Cleveland as a reputation of being a really contact-heavy team, and they are, at least up top. But some of the changes they've made, adding Lane Thomas last season, 28% strikeout guy, adding Nolan Jones from Colorado, 29% strikeout guy, Arias at 31%. No lineup just yet. That's the projected lineup. Manzardo, if he draws a start, there's some power there, some prospect pedigree. But there's more strikeouts there than there have been recently for Cleveland. Kwan doesn't strike out. J-Ram doesn't strike out. Carlos Santana. Those 3 guys are annoying. But beyond that, there are some Ks lurking for Cleveland. And, of course, King, one of the better strikeout guys in the slate, almost 28% last season, 32% in change, specifically against righties, pulling that up from the Plate IQ. I'm trying to see what sort of lineups are coming in. We're still waiting for no Detroits. There's a lot of late games, so no Detroits. No Cleveland, no San Diego, no Chicago or Oakland. Geez, I keep doing that. It's the Athletics. It's not Oakland. They don't have a team city. They're just called the Athletics right now. Atlanta and the Dodgers, no lineups there either. But you mentioned Steele, and we talked about that ballpark, and maybe let's get early on it. Any concern as far as, hey, Steele's got to throw in that ballpark too? And maybe Oakland. I know yesterday it was Chicago, and we like the Athletics. At least the front half of their lineup's pretty good. Any concern there as far as throwing baseballs in? I think it's Sutter Health Field, I want to say.
Yeah, so I think that Steele for the savings at 8,200 is someone I'm going to be getting to, like I said. But the pivots would be paying the 500 up to King. And I think the interesting one, because of the narrative with the torpedo bats, is to play some Corbin Burns, which I don't think a lot of people are just afraid of that narrative going on, that the Yankees have these new bats and they're fantastic and whatever. Corbin Burns is a really good MLB pitcher and has been for a while, so I don't mind throwing him out versus the Yankees. I don't love Yankee stacks tonight. I'd probably just 2-man Yankees. 2 or 3-man Yankees. Like Yankees minis are fine, but I don't think they're going to blow up Burns tonight. So I do like paying the 400 extra for some Corbin Burns as well.
It's a weird one, Bob. You'll talk about stacks enough, but I think I'm mostly ignoring, like, I'm not going to play Burns and I'm not going to play Yankees, I think. And, maybe I get one lineup, but I'm not focusing on either. But it is, Burns. The thing with Burns is, like, the Ks have really dwindled. 22.6% last season, which is, is that around league average, basically? It's not very good. He was good as far as, like, subduing homers. His WOBA was very good. 119 ISO, 275 WOBA. He was good, but Ks are king, right? And he just doesn't really compile a whole bunch. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come, but it's going to get worse and worse as he progresses. Of course, he got paid by Arizona. So, they believe him. They believe in that arm for the next 4 or 5 years or so. But you are right. He's not going to be owned, right? I'm pulling up the ownership stuff right now. Let's see.
No, he's not. I don't think he's going to be very owned.
I got to give a refresh on the lineup HQ because my ownership stuff went away. There it is. Now it's back. Okay, there was an update that was made. Let's see. Yeah, so we're talking about ownership before. Gilbert, 43%, Steele, 23%, Sale, 20%, Barrios, 14%, which is, he's a professional pitcher. He's fine. Burns is 14%, basically the same price. You like Burns over Barrios, I assume?
I think Burns is the interesting tournament pivot on the slate if you want to go there. I think Barrios is fine. I think I'd prefer Burns over Barrios, yeah.
I just want to show love to FanDuel as well. Any distinct difference? Of course, you only roster one pitcher over there. The difference in price for Steele, 8.7 as a salary savings. That's why he's coming in the second most popular. Basically the same as Sale. He's 8.7, Sale is 10.2, and Gilbert's 10.6. Beyond that, nobody is getting double-digit ownership. I mean, there's Woods Richardson, who's just, again, he's fine, but he just sort of survives. The K's aren't great, 20% or so, but it's the matchup against Chicago. I know they've had a couple big games, the White Sox. They beat up somebody in Minnesota, Chris Paddock. They dropped a 9 spot on him. I'm still not a believer in the White Sox.
I played them a day early. I had them on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they went off on Monday. Yeah.
That's how that's going to go sometimes. Will Warren, in a small sample, has had a lot of strikeouts. He was a top 100 prospect for the Yankees. Arizona was the best offense in baseball last season. Basically, statistically, depending on what you're using. I don't know. I guess he could be in the pool if you want him in the pool, but I don't think I'm forcing that. Anything else you want to mention as far as pitchers? A pretty clear cut. Gilbert, I think Sale is the pivot. I haven't tried to make both together as like a double barrel cash game lineup. Don't really want to pick in the Dodgers. Worth noting that Freeman will be out of that lineup. He aggravated his. I assume he's going to be out of that lineup. That's why I didn't play yesterday. He hurt himself in the shower. I don't know if you saw that, but he had that. Was it a foot surgery or toe surgery? Something that got aggravated.
I did see that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously left on left anyway. Sale was so dominant versus lefties. Freeman, not your average lefty, but yeah.
Sale and Gilbert have the EP. Just a heads up. I do think you can go double barrel studs tonight. Actually kind of like that build a good bit. So
it was his ankle. Thank you, chat. Derek and Don Yeezy, let me know. That was his body part. I knew it was some part of his leg below the knee. Anything else of note? Casey Mize, all my eye on. I don't think I'm getting to him, but I wouldn't discourage it. Logan Webb, professional pitcher, pretty solid, but I don't know what his upside is. He's another guy, just the velocity or the Ks have dwindled down to 20%. But pretty good pitcher.
Stack in general. So I think
Eric
Webb.
Eric in chat's asking about Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara is not on our slate. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't really dug into it. I know he was good in the first game. He probably just stuck around a little bit too long. But but I don't know. 640. He's not on FanDuel, not on DraftKings, so I did not dig in. So I really have nothing for you. But I don't know. Did you any thoughts as far as Sandy Alcantara? You're probably not prepared for that. I assume you're not.
I'm not.
Anything else you want to say as far as pitchers?
I don't know. Like you said, pitcher I think is pretty clear cut. So those 6 pitchers I gave. You mentioned Mize. He has an EP as well. I like just noticing that. If I was MEing tonight, I'd probably have him in the pool, throw him up there. Will Warren at 6,800. But like you said, do you really want to attack Arizona? Arizona's been good to start. Suarez, Kettle Marte. They have some bats. So, yeah. I don't know. If I was MEing, you can throw those 2, make it 8, but that would pretty much be the only pitchers that I'd be considering.
Okay, let's do some stacks. Let's go ahead and drop our second clue for the people for Television Tuesday. We did not get a winner. A lot of guesses coming in here in the live stream chat channel. No winner just yet, but maybe this will change things. Maybe not. Second clue dropping momentarily. That would be move. Move is our second clue. Also, we have our tier rankings. Bobby, we discussed the category. I just went ahead and knocked these out, and feel free to give your opinion in chat. There's a whole bunch to pick from, but it is a Television Tuesday, and it's April Fools. So I just figured we would rank some sitcoms. We're ranking some sitcoms here. So feel free in chat. Let me know your favorite sitcom. There's a whole bunch that could have been on the board. How do you not have this on the board? You can only pick so many. And, of course, there's a couple bad ones, too, in the 4 or 5 spot. But that is what we went with. Do you have a favorite sitcom, Bobby?
Nope.
Do you enjoy laughing? You not like is laughing?
No, I like laughing. I just can't think any off the top of my head. I've been watching White Lotus. I'm very excited for the finale. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but
I have. I'm excited too.
What
It's a slow burn, man. It's a slow burn.
Slow burn, but it's starting to pick up.
Yeah. People always get upset, like nothing's happening. It's like, have you seen the White Lotus before? This is the show.
How it goes. Yeah.
This is what you signed up for.
Do you think that's his dad?
Maybe. I don't want to spoil for people, but maybe. I think it's possible.
Seems like no spoilers. Yeah.
We live in a society, you know. You got to give people a couple days.
Did you watch Righteous Gemstones?
I have not watched the most recent episode, no, but I'm an episode behind. But
it was kind of a filler episode.
Okay. Yeah. It's a fun show. It's a fun show. I almost ranked it. I almost ranked Righteous Gemstones, but I didn't really know where to put it. It would be either 2 or 3, I suppose, but did not get there. Tim and chat's yelling no spoilers. The people, they will turn on you.
Really watch the shows on time, Tim. Like literally, they're on every week at the same time. You just watch them. It's easy. I know some people like to wait till the end so they can watch them all at once, which I get.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Tim, you know.
Well, people are spoiled. Like Netflix spoiled people. Like, you know, the different services do different things. And, you know, nobody likes to – some people like it, I suppose. Like Severance.
I'm so sick of TV apps for everything. I'm so sick. I know you love it. I hate it.
You think I should pull it all together and have one big price and that's it? Like cable? Like let's go back to cable, basically. They should all merge into one. We're going to go back to cable with like, oh, you get Apple and you get Netflix. You get it all. Okay. So, all right. Our category is sitcoms. By the way, sitcoms, we'll go ahead and throw this on the board as far as our tier rankings. And we'll throw the teams in the appropriate spot. But I personally I think The Office is an elite sitcom. Spectacular show. Rewatchability is absurd. Character development, just a lot of fun. It's one of those shows you can watch and enjoy like thoroughly, or you can just kind of have on in the background. You know, it's versatile in that way. So yes, The Office is number 1. Parks and Rec, it could be a number 1 spot, but the problem with Parks and Rec, if there's a problem, kind of stumbles out the gate. It doesn't really find itself until season 2. So, you know, I would recommend it, but also the first season you don't really need to watch until they change the cast and get rid of the couple characters. Brockmire. I thought Brockmire would be a fun one to throw in there because most people aren't aware of it.
I'm not aware of it. I have no idea what it is.
It's Hank Azaria. Hank Azaria plays a baseball announcer who's like shamed, or I can't remember what sparks it, but he has some sort of controversy. He essentially gets kicked off the team. He's calling like Major League Baseball games. He's been doing it forever. And then he has to rework his way back to this. He has to go back to the minor leagues. But he's kind of a disgraced baseball announcer. You know Hank Azaria. You've heard his voice in a million things. You've seen it in a million things. And it's very funny. I can't remember what network it was on. It was a weird network. And then 2.5 Men, which is, I think it's pretty lame. It's not for me. It's probably right up your alley. And then you probably
know my alley. 2.5 Men.
You know, you don't like comedies. It's it's network simple, laugh track. Oh, and I'm supposed to laugh. It's telling me.
Are you calling me a simpleton?
No, just messing around. You said you don't like comedies, so I don't know. I'm doing a bit now. But the last one is
you're getting killed, and only Dean would pick 5 comedy sitcoms and not one of them be funny.
Who says that?
It's the chat, Dean. The chat's speaking. TJ is basically saying what I said earlier. We've already done this, or someone's done this. But there's like 182 games.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're going to redo some of these.
I'll say this, by the way. If you have any ideas, if anybody has any ideas, I'm willing to, give me your idea and we'll do it. Assuming it makes sense. Assuming I can actually give some kind of opinion on it. But
I still want to do conspiracy theories, but
what?
That's been poo-pooed.
The Geico commercial? Not the gecko, but they have remember the caveman? Remember the caveman?
Yeah.
The Geico caveman? They based a sitcom off of it. and they thought that was, a bunch of people like greenlit it.
Oh, I saw the commercial for that. Yeah.
They thought that was a good idea, and it lasted like 3 episodes or so. Nick Kroll was a part of it. Nick Kroll's a funny dude. He was in Big Mouth. He's in The League, and somehow, it's a complete disaster. And I was trying to think one of the worst possible sitcoms. Caveman. It is horrendous. I don't know if you can find it anywhere, but it's really, really a terrible premise, a terrible idea, and it's a disaster. Anyways, that is the board. If the people are upset, so be it. TJ is saying there's many great sitcoms out there. I mean, I can only have so many. Mythic Quest is pretty fun. I watched some of that on Apple. The dude from Always Sunny, and the guy he owns the soccer team with Gosling, or one of those guys. Is it Gosling? Somebody. They had that soccer show on FX, which I haven't watched, but I hear it's spectacular. Anyways, let's throw some teams in some stats.
Ryan Reynolds.
That's who it is. Yeah, I don't know why I got Gosling and Reynolds confused. That's what I meant. I got my Ryans mixed up.
I got my first movie Monday correct yesterday and didn't say anything, by the way. Got TJ's. Anyone but you. Fantastic flick. Still, I've seen it like 8 times. Still don't know what it's about.
What are you talking about?
Anyone but you.
You don't know what it's about?
Well, I know what it's about, but I don't really care about the plot.
Okay. Something tells me I know why you're watching it, because you're a big Glenn Powell fan, obviously.
I think that would be you. I think you're the Glenn guy.
Glenn Powell's spectacular. He's great.
He is very good. He's very talented. I will say, Sydney Sweeney. Oof. She's easy on the eye. Single now, too.
Why do you know that?
Because I listened to TJ yesterday when he said that she was out at a wedding with Glenn Powell, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I actually listened to the show.
I thought you were on. You subscribed to National Enquirer or something like that. I don't know if that's.
I did some digging afterwards.
TMZ is like your go-to for news. Oh, Brockmeyer was on IFC. Thank you, Dwayne. That's where it was at. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's throw some teams in some categories. It's Burns taking on Will Warren, 8.5 total. Atlanta's a slight favorite here. The Yankees and all their torpedo bats against the righty. So we got Ben Rice cracking the lineup as a potential cheapie with some power. But how much do we want to pick on Corbin Burns? Warren might be good. We don't have big samples on Warren, but he might be good. But of course, his Arizona offense was pretty good last year. They did lose Walker, but they replaced him with Josh Naylor. Where are we throwing the Diamondbacks and the Yankees?
Just looking through. I would go D-backs. I'd put in Parks and Rec works. Yankees, 2.5 men.
Yeah. We're not big fans of the Yankees today. It's always kind of a scary fade to not play the Yankees. It's Judge specifically, I suppose. And it's so weird that Paul Goldschmidt is their leadoff hitter. Just 35-year-old Paul Goldschmidt, whatever he is. Just no legs these days, but never really had him. But
why isn't Jazz the leadoff hitter? I don't get that.
I think he strikes out too much. And I don't think I don't think he's a great on-base guy, but I don't disagree with that sentiment. They were talking about Volpe potentially, but he's another guy that they really can't trust to get on base necessarily. Volpe strikes out too much. Jazz strikes out a fair bit, but I don't really get it. Goldie strikes out a lot too, so that's probably not going to sustain for the entire year.
Any Yankee you have interest in other than Judge? Like, who would be your guy? I think for me, I think it would be Goldie at that price tag. Maybe Volpe at 4.6.
It's either Judge as a one-off or like a stack for me,
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at, I guess you go one-off Bellinger too. But I'm just kind of hoping they're quiet. I'm hopeful they're quiet today. Burns, you're not really attacking any dramatic split on him. So, I'll tell you this one thing. We talked about this the other day. Burns did give up the most stolen bases in all of baseball last year. So
Volpe might be the one you want.
So you might be able to get a couple steals off him.
Yeah. If you're stacking next to Judge, like a 2-man, which I'm doing.
That's a good segue for Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is stealing a ton, just an insane amount of stolen bases this year. I didn't look at the league leaders, but I assume they're league leaders. I wasn't sure if that was like philosophy or just they were attacking the opponent, the Marlins, but they swiped, I think, 15 bags in that first series. O'Neal Cruz had a ton. Thomas Harrington is taking on Shane Baz. Harrington was like the 5th or 6th prospect or so in Pittsburgh's organization. I was looking at him. This is his MLB debut. More on the Tampa side. Vegas likes the Tampa side. We like that ballpark as well. Yeah, he's a 6th ranked prospect in the organization, almost 24 years old. But Tampa seems to be the side. They're going to be fairly popular. There's some cheapies as well. Jake Mangum's in there. Cameron Misner are both pretty cheap. Of course, Lau, you got to spend up for Caminero as well. But and then Pittsburgh is against Shane Baz. They're not going to be terribly popular. Cruz is the one-off. Sawinski is probably a potential pinch hit threat if a lefty comes in. At least he has been historically. Haven't had a big sample this year, obviously. Pirates, Rays, what do you got?
Yeah, I think this is probably a game like we talked about the early stack. I like the Rays a good bit. I think Brandon Lau hits his home run that you've been chasing tonight. We've seen Jake Mangum with his 25 last night, or 30 or whatever he got at 2.5. You talked about Misner being cheap. I like him. Danny Jansen, my favorite player in baseball, is on the Rays. I'm going to put the Rays in the office.
Wow, there you go.
I'm going to go Rays in the office. And Pitt, I'm going to put in Parks and Rec. I like Pitt as well a good bit. On the Pitt side, people that stand out, Tommy Pham, I think he's leading off. Brian Reynolds, 5.2. O'Neal Cruz, we talked about stolen base upside like that. Brian Hayes. Those would be the main guys. Joey Bart is a catcher option. But yeah, that's Pittsburgh for me, and Tampa Bay. And I think this game has some pretty good hitting weather, and you talk about the dimensions of this field being similar to Yankee Stadium. So I like lefties if you can get them.
There are some funky names here for the Rays, like Mangum batting cleanup, Curtis Mead, Cameron Misner. You did mention your boy Danny Jansen. It's like DeLuca. Walls are not very sexy. It's not, individually, it's not like the best plays, and it's interesting they have a 5 total, but I kind of sort of somewhat get it. Misner, I was looking at his college stuff, his minor league stuff. Well, first I have Mangum, and he's 29 years old. Like, he's not a prospect. I believe we saw him steal a couple bases last night. He did steal 20 bases last year in AAA, but Misner was the one who has shown both speed and power. I believe he's younger too. He's 27. Again, I wouldn't really call him a prospect. Maybe he's a prospect now. Maybe he's somebody that graduated as far as, I guess he was 27 in the organization going into the season, but he's on the fringe of no longer being a prospect. But last year, he was 30 stolen bases, 17 homers. And the year before, 21 stolen bases, 21 homers. So there is, a speed power combination for Cameron Misner, who's pretty cheap, very cheap. All right, let's go ahead and drop a third clue for Television Tuesday, because we don't have a winner just yet. Unless I missed it, kind of bouncing back and forth. And our producer Steve will let me know if he sees a winner. Third clue. This is where it all turns around, Bobby. Maybe not. Buddy, Soprano, Move, and Buddy. Those are our 3 clues. Get in the Discord. Tell me what what TV show I am talking about. All right. Next game, Bobby, it's Washington and Toronto. The Blue Jays, they are minus 162 favorites, 8.5 total. Jose Barrios taking on Trevor Williams. We saw, Washington, very predictable. They got 2 runs yesterday, 2 of the rest hitters. CJ Abrams banged one out, and James Wood banged one out. Everybody else did nada. As far as Toronto, pretty standard lineup. Bichette, Vladdy, Santander, Jimenez. Jimenez has been hot to start the season. Kirk is one of those, probably a little too cheap as far as catcher. Falls off Springer. Springer's fine. Wagner, Lukes, and Rodin falls off there for sure. The 3 lefties in the back end. Where do you have the Nats and the Blue Jays?
Put the Blue Jays in Parks and Rec, and the Nats and Brockmeyer. Nats let me down yesterday a little bit. Kyber Ruiz. I know Josh Bell had hit 2 balls pretty well, but they got tracked down. James Wood and Abrams went back to back. Like, I like the Nats, some value there that I think you can definitely get to. Like I said, Josh Bell hitting 5th. I think he's 2,900. Paul DeJong's there, 2,500. I think there's some plays here that Nate Lowe, 3,200 hitting 4th. So there are some Nats that I'm interested in. It's mainly the Blue Jays, Santander, Kirk, Vladdy, Rodin. Like, these guys are guys I'm interested in. Clement, that would be my Blue Jays. Maybe some Bo. Yeah.
Minnesota, Chicago, 7.5 total. It's going to be cold there. Let me go ahead and see what Roth has to say, because I think it's, yeah, okay, let me give it a refresh just to confirm. Cold and windy with temperatures in the 40s and wind blowing in at 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's a 7.5 total. Also, yeah, the White Sox offense stink, and Minnesota not so hot either, especially with the exception of Royce Lewis. Of course, Royce Lewis in a familiar place, unfortunately, on the IL. Very good pitching weather, according to Roth. Could see a raindrop or two early, but any heavy rain holds off until the end of the game, or more likely after the game ends. Roth, of course, will be on about a half hour or so with Dave Potts as well as Kirkwood, and he'll give some more clarity if necessary. But I don't really have any interest in the bats here. I know Shane Smith, who's, I believe this is his MLB debut, taking on Simeon Woods Richardson. It's kind of like an overachiever a little bit, but I just don't like rostering hitters in this type of weather as a general rule. You can get a collection of singles and doubles, and I suppose you sure can still hit out, of course, but it's not very appealing. I'm pulling up the Weather Edge right now, giving it a refresh. Do we have something on Minnesota? How often do we have this particular type of weather? In Chicago. It's only a 13-game sample, so a grain of salt, but yeah, homers were subdues at 15%. 43 is the temp, 16-mile-per-hour winds coming in. I don't have a lot of interest here. I think I'm okay with Simeon Woods Richardson. Is like, put up a decent. He's probably not going to put up a score that hurts you. I don't know how much he helps you, but that's not necessarily what you want, right? But he can get you an extra bat or two potentially, although he's not that cheap. Are you enthused about this game? I am not. You probably can hear it in my voice.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I put the White Sox in caveman and 2.5 men for Minnesota. I will say, like, Buxton sounds fine as a one-off, but this is the type of weather he could leave the game in pretty quickly. I feel like he's like the Anthony Davis of the MLB for whatever reason.
Anthony Davis had a good run of not getting injured. He was almost like mislabeled, and then he got traded, and then immediately, insult to injury. But Buxton, how often do you get Buxton and Royce Lewis playing together? Just doesn't seem to happen very often. But in theory, they're a fun 1-2 tandem. And then you have like the Larnacks and the Woolners. They're power lefties that there's a chance they get the hook. Julian's another guy. If a lefty comes in, he's almost definitely gone. But this game to me is essentially a cross-off as far as hitters. All right. Michael Lorenzen's throwing baseballs against the Brewers. Chad Patrick, 2 first names. He is getting his very first start of his baseball career, taking on Bobby, if you don't mind, can you reiterate to Steve is spinning some plates. Let him know there in the private chat where to put Minnesota and the White Sox. Just give him a direction there. Kansas City and Milwaukee. Chad Patrick, Michael Lorenzen. The Royals, I thought their total will be higher here, to be honest. 4.1 seems a little bit low, although that offense outside of Witt isn't great. No Vinny P. I don't know if he got hurt or he's just getting a day, but Vinny P is not in the lineup. India leading off, really good price on FanDuel for India, and you got to love the players leading off on the road. No better position than anybody else. No best positioned to grab themselves a precious fifth at bat. Five ABs. That fifth at bat is the one that can get you there. But yeah, this lineup, Cavan Biggio, fifth. It's not great. Isbell, it looks especially weak today. It's just Bobby Witt and a bunch of dudes. Sal Perez, he's got some power. Your thoughts, Brewers and Royals?
Yeah. So Michael Knack in chat basically said we have Washington way too low. The more I think about it, I kind of agree with him. Let's put Washington up to Parks and Rec.
Oh.
And KC will move in a Brockmeyer just because I like Witt, I like Perez. I know you said the lineup stinks, but I don't know. Witt, you can always play.
I like Witt a ton.
Yeah, I like Witt a ton. That's why I put them in the middle. Milwaukee, I really have. You can put them in 2.5 men. I don't have any interest in Milwaukee really, or cavemen, but let's go 2.5 men. Let's go caveman with Milwaukee. Yeah.
Did you watch 2.5 Men, Bobby? Was I wrong to assume that?
I've seen episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. See, you're calling me out, and then I was right.
But I've seen episodes of The Office too. I haven't watched it in full.
Yeah. Which of those two would you prefer?
The Office, Dean.
All right. So we got something right, at least amongst those two, I suppose. All right. Yeah, Chad Patrick doesn't project to be especially good. Neither one of these offenses look very good either. But we shall move on. Speaking about offenses, the Angels taking on the Cardinals. Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks is still sticking around. Good for him. Matthew Liberatore. It's an 8 total. Cardinals are -140 favorites. Let's fire up the plate IQ because I think Hendricks is going to be especially vulnerable to lefties here. If you look at last season, yeah, Hendricks struck out 14.5% of lefties, only 16% of righties, both really bad. He'll get you ground balls, so that's his one skill, right? He can get you some ground balls, but he's not going to strike guys out. And Nootbaar, Burleson, Donovan, Arenado, those are all contact guys. So those guys are going to put the ball in play. You know, he's got to survive on BABIP and soft contact. I hate this ballpark. It's not the worst, but it's neutral at best for hitters, right?
It was better last year, but years previously, I would avoid it at all costs.
I kind of like the Cardinals a little bit today.
You would.
Well, why do you say that? I don't want to like the Cardinals, but I kind of do.
Because Burleson's 3-1. We know you love that. Donovan's 3-6.
Arenado's cheap.
Arenado's cheap at 3.9. They're all priced well. There's value there, so I could see why you like the Cardinals. I would put the Cardinals and Brockmeyer. Yeah, I think that's probably they're like a value stack. You could full stack them, but I don't know. I feel like they're just more for minis for me. And then from there, the Angels. I do think Soler goes yard tonight.
Oh.
Trout's going to get off the snide a little bit. But they're more one-offs, and I don't love them. I'd say the Angels, you can probably put the Angels are tough. I'd put the Angels in 2.5 men just for the one-off home runs. I don't know.
Nootbaar apparently is working on some launch angle stuff. Showing a little bit more power so far this year in the early
St. Louis Parks and Rec.
Say it again.
You like St. Louis and Parks and Rec?
I'm not going to overrule you. This is your board.
You can overrule me.
I would put it in Parks and Rec.
Put St. Louis in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I do like St. Louis a fair. And again, they help you. They're pretty cheap. I don't even like Jordan Walker is completely bonkers. I know Jordan Walker, by the way. They used to do the Jason Tatum, just still 19. Do you know how old Jordan Walker is? It feels like he's been around forever. He's still 22. He's 22.
We should move the Angels up to Brockmeyer too. Just since we're switching everything around. I like Soler.
Darno in there, by the way, for the Angels. Just a heads up, doing the catching today, as opposed to Ohapi. And we mentioned Nootbaar is one of my favorite hitters there on St. Louis. Do love the leadoff hitters, of course. I don't believe we have a winner just yet for our Jordan Walker looks like he's 40. Does he look like he's 40? He's got that Benjamin Button thing going on for him. Oh, Anthony Simons was ruled out for Portland. That's a big deal. They'll be talking basketball. I guess Kirkwood. They'll focus on baseball first and basketball. Basketball slate does not start until 7:30, but yeah, if you're playing basketball tonight, note that Anthony Simons is out. All right. Next clue. We do not have a winner just yet. Let's get a fourth clue for the people for television Tuesday. That fourth clue is, the first three, Soprano, Move, Buddy, and the last clue, the fourth clue is 5 in total, is Spinoff. Spinoff is the fourth clue. There you go. This might change things. All of a sudden, the people are going to be locked in and we'll have a winner. We shall see. But next game, we're done with the Angels and Cardinals, correct?
We're done with the Angels and Cardinals.
Giants still on the road in Houston. Hayden Wesneski taking on Logan Webb. An 8 total. Giants are favorite here, minus 142. Trying to see if there's anything different when it comes to the lineups. Christian Koss in there. Pretty standard, unless I'm missing something. Still in the early stages of form. Not in midseason form just yet, but I think those are pretty standard lineups versus righties. Astros, Giants. This game, as far as I can tell, is going to be mostly ignored on all angles. The 4 quadrants: Webb, Wisniewski, Giants offense, and Astros offense. Do you agree with that?
I like the Giants. The Giants I'd put in Parks and Rec, like Adames, like Chapman, Herrera. He's on the Giants, right? Patrick Bailey, no, not Herrera. Sorry. Why am I thinking Herrera's on St. Louis, right? He's the other catcher. Jung-Hoo Lee, I think they're all fine. You have to watch out for pinch hit risk with guys like Yastrzemski, Flores, Lamont Wade, but yeah, that would be the only thing that scares me off of them, really. Houston, 2.5 men, just very easy for me. Like Alvarez, that's really it.
No interest in Walker, Altuve, Paredes. Webb is, I don't think, nothing glaring that says you have to attack him. Still a pretty good pitcher.
I honestly could put them in caveman, but because of Alvarez, we'll just leave it at 2.5 men.
Last season, ISO of 97 for Webb, 289 WOBA. No dramatic splits. A ton of ground balls. I
hate picking on Webb. Like, there's no way I'd stack against him.
Well, I just don't like picking on ground ball pitchers as a general thought, and he's the best ground ball pitcher on the slate by far. He doesn't give up home runs, right? Shouldn't say doesn't, but he gave up 0.48 homers per 9 last season. I know he's protected by the ballpark there in San Fran, but that's how you get the guys. That's the best way to rack up points, homers. And if he doesn't give them up, it's hard to get there. All right. Let's see. How many more games do we have? I think we have the 9 o'clock games coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Making good time here, Bobby. About 20 minutes or so until crunch time comes in. Again, crunch time talking basketball and baseball. Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood. He's got you covered for baseball, taking you up the baseball lock. You got Kirkwood talking basketball. Basketball lock is 7:30. Do hit that like button. You guys are hanging out in chat. Participate in the show. Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. I don't want to assign TJ anything, but I see TJ hanging out in chat. And usually when TJ's hanging out in chat, Spidey is also hanging out in chat. So if we hit a certain threshold, sometimes TJ's feeling generous. He gives out his Spidey bombs every 50 likes or so. Do want to mention, like a lot of the bells and whistles we're showing off, we're not showing it off right now on the screen. We were showing it off earlier in the lineup HQ tool, which is, I'm just on it all day long. If I'm not on there, I'm on the Plate IQ tool, which I reference all the time. If you want access to that and things of that sort, MLB DFS annual, it's $425. However, you can get Combo Pro, same exact package as the same price as MLB package. You get yourself football, baseball, basketball, hockey, all the sports, everything with the exception of NASCAR. It's a 35% discount as opposed to going month by month by month by month. Takes a little bit of a commitment, but you do get a price break. Should also mention, if you're in the prop streets, you're playing on underdog, you're playing on your sports book and you're over under as far as player props, check out the props and pick 'em package for a discount. Props and pick 'em package, it features daily prop picks, fantasy pick 'em selections from many of your favorite RG experts. We are knocking off 50% off your first month. Sign up with the link below. It should be in the description. Maybe we can get it in chat. If not, it'll be in the description there on the YouTube. It looks like we have a winner in the live stream chat. I will say the last clue for Television Tuesday was kangaroo. Kangaroo was the last clue. And inspired by TJ using kangaroo as a clue yesterday. Like, oh, we can call that back. So kangaroo is our last clue for Television Tuesday. All right. Let's knock out these last 4 games. Let's throw them on the board. As of right now, by the way, just one team hanging out with Michael Scott there. That's the Tampa Bay Rays and the office. Detroit Mariners, 6.5 total. That is paltry. And Seattle's a pretty big favorite here, minus 180. You add that up, and Detroit's a team total under 3. They really they beat up on Hancock yesterday. We kind of talked about that one. He was one of the worst pitchers on the board, but Gilbert is no Hancock. Gilbert's really good. No lineup just yet for Detroit. Maybe they don't want to play against Gilbert, or maybe it's just come out. Nope, that's the A's that just dropped. A's are Butler, Rooker, Blade, Langoliers, Andujar, Soderstrom, Urshela, Muncy, and Wilson. Detroit, we're expecting Henry Malloy, Carpenter, Green, Torkelson, Keith, McKinstry, Rogers, Sweeney, and they're hitting Javi Baez 9th only because they can't hit him 10th. Man, how much is still left in that contract, that Javi Baez signature? That was a... It
wasn't only him from that Chicago World Series team, though, right? Like Chris Bryant.
Jason Hayward got paid by somebody, I think. Yeah, Chris Bryant.
Like there's a bunch that are just... I guess Rizzo's the only one that's really relevant at this point, but he's out of the lineup, right, for the Yankees currently, so...
Rizzo, yeah. I mean, yeah. Is he on the Yankees?
I don't even know. Is he on the Yankees? I have no idea.
I don't know. He was dealing with a back last year, and they shut him down.
Is Rizzo on the Yankees? That's a question you can ask.
I don't know. If we only have a meat machine. So, yeah, Javi Baez, 6 years, $140 million, signed till 2027. Oof. Ugh. Yeah, that's not good. Rizzo is not signed, according to our chat.
Yeah, someone just answered in chat.
Yeah, I didn't think he was still lurking. Is he getting paid still? Because maybe that's why he hasn't officially retired. I'm not sure, but no, I think he's a free agent. Pretty sure he's a free agent, and nobody's knocking on that door right now. And you mentioned Chris Bryant too. Oof, the Rockies
playing correct for Colorado. Like
he I guess they spend money one time, the Rockies, and it did not work out for them. Many years ago, they paid that pitcher Mike Hampton. That didn't work either.
I remember Mike Hampton. They went Mike Hampton over. They were trying to get. It was either Mussina or Mike Hampton, and Mussina went to the Yankees.
Yeah,
Hampton went to Colorado. Yeah,
did not work out.
Come off a good year with the Mets, I think.
Yeah, he got paid. It's hard to get top line pitchers to sign in Colorado, obviously. Okay. Seattle, Detroit. We talked about Logan Gilbert being the most popular pitcher on the board. If you want to do the old leverage thing, I guess you can, but nobody's playing Detroit. And then the Mariners, whatever. Casey Mize,
Detroit's team total is 2.9, right?
2.8, I think. Yeah. Less than 3.
It's going down. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get much lower than that, can it?
Detroit's in caveman for sure. And like, if you want to play some of these Mariners, be my guest. I will not be. The Mariners, you could probably put in caveman too. I
hate that ballpark.
Does this make us like Casey Mize like a little bit?
Say it. I think Mize is fine. I think he's in the pool. He's not my first lineup or my second, but I don't know how many lineups you're running. But if you're running 20, you can get a Mize or two.
Running 6.
Yeah, I'm probably not getting there in 6.
Yeah, I'm not.
Unlikely. But I'm not going to tell you can't do it. Maybe Dave has some thoughts on Mize. Mize went to Auburn. Cheese is always touting the War Eagle. But, of course, once upon a time, I believe, was the number one pick in all of baseball. Dealt with a pretty severe injury. Yeah, but hitting-wise, we're just crossing it out. Mastro Buoni is in there, by the way, just a heads up. You're not playing him, but he was somebody who was not anticipated in the Seattle lineup, batting 8th. Okay, Cleveland and San Diego. No Cleveland lineup just yet, unless it just came up and I have to hit refresh on the lineups page. I don't see it. Okay, yeah, so Mike King taking on Logan Allen. 7.5 total. San Diego, pretty big favorite. Team total above 4. Cleveland barely at 3 and change. You talked earlier about King having the matchup's not as terrible as it was historically. Cleveland is finally adding some strikeout guys there. I thought it was strange. Speaking of the Rockies, why they just throw away Nolan Jones? That just seemed odd. But the Rockies do weird things sometimes. Logan Allen, he gave up the most homers last season. Logan Webb gave the fewest. The most was – no, wait. Hold on a second. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. Logan Allen over 2 homers per 9, 2.03 to be precise. 18% strikeouts, 9.5% walks. Too many homers, not enough strikeouts, too many walks. It's a bad combination, right? The other thing is, if you kind of dig in as far as the splits, even more dramatic, that the sample isn't huge, Bobby. But it's righties. I think it's righties. Logan Allen versus righties last season, 268 ISO, 407 WOBA. Funny thing is, Tatis wasn't good versus righties last year. I still believe he's going to be good, power-wise at least. He had 100 ISO. It's not good. Machado was the one that really kind of jumped off the page. Jackson Merrill wasn't good left on left, but he's still 22, figuring stuff out. I kind of like the Padres as if not necessarily a full 5, but 2 or 3 or 4, kind of a mini. I'm curious your thoughts as far as San Diego, and I think you were on King earlier, so you're probably not much on Cleveland. You tell me.
How do we have Seattle and Brockmeyer?
I don't know. They should be at the bottom, correct?
Yeah. Move Seattle, move Milwaukee up to 2.5 men. Sorry.
Do you know Chop pre-ranks? I'm not saying you should. Chop.
There's no way I'm pre-ranking. There's no way.
I found it funny. He doesn't do it. He has his guys. He's probably still willing to change, but he comes in with a board.
I'm not willing.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not head chopper. I can only aspire to be that great one day, but
we all can.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, he can do that stuff, and I'll just keep what I'm doing.
Will you throw San Diego and Cleveland into one of these tiers?
San Diego and Brockmeyer, Cleveland. We'll put Cleveland in. I don't know. Cleveland's I don't want to play any 3-4 team total. J-Ram maybe. Caveman, yeah. I don't know. Caveman for Cleveland.
Joe says winds are blowing in 20 miles per hour as far as the Padres. I'm seeing a crosswind officially. It's not blowing in as far as what I can see. And this is on the weather page. I think Roth says 15 to 20 miles per hour blowing left to right across the ballpark. So, and this is, again, you're kind of talking about before. Sometimes you get caught by small samples, a 5-game sample. So I'm not freaking out. It is 55, kind of cool there. But in a 5-game sample, 85% bump in homers. But that's nothing to me. I'm not getting caught up in that. But still happy to play San Diego weather-wise. DeLon Terry ruled out for the Bulls, by the way. Giddy is in. They're saying Freddie Freeman is out till at least Friday, but his x-rays are negative. So that's good. If you're playing basketball, Royce O'Neal is out, as is Bradley Beal. So Phoenix a little bit thin. You did rank San Diego and Cleveland, right? They're both on the board, correct?
On there, yeah.
Okay. 2 more to go. The Cubs, Athletics, 8 total, which kind of seems a little low. I know we talk about this ballpark. The weather is not great necessarily, but the ballpark is really conducive for hitting baseballs, much more so than the old Oakland Coliseum. Severino, pretty dramatic splits, more vulnerable to lefties than righties. Kyle Tucker, the hero last night, one of the best big spends in the slate, in my opinion. Michael Busch, one of the best salary savers, especially on FanDuel. He looks really, really good over there. And then Justin Steele, good pitcher, but Oakland. Geez, I keep doing that. I have to stop calling him Oakland. My apologies. The front 5, at least the front 5 for Oakland, or 6.
I like the Washington football team versus Redskins situation.
that one I do not do for whatever reason, but that one my brain is in Cleveland. I go with Guardians. My brain does not work on Oakland for some reason. I don't know. I can't train it, and I guess eventually we'll start saying Vegas, possibly. Who knows? Chicago and the Athletics. What are your thoughts?
Chicago and the TJ said nowhere near the same thing.
Is TJ supposed to drop in the Spidey bombs?
I thought he was, but stick to the Spidey bombs, Tej. Parks and Rec, Chicago. We'll go. This ballpark, like we kind of said at the top of the show, you want to be ahead on this ballpark. And then Brockmeyer for the Athletics. I know people, they're the Athletics and they might as well be a minor league team, but they do have some bats there. They've been pesky. That stadium's conducive to offense, I'm pretty sure. I think you're on the not on the fence, but you believe that runs can be scored there as well. I know Steele's going to be chalky. I do think the A's are interesting as like a leverage off Steele. That's mainly it.
He gets 3 lefties, almost 30% strikeouts last year versus lefties. Pretty good against righties too, 23%. He was really, really good against lefties, 73 ISO as well, but he was good both sides. I like the talent. This is his third start of the season. I think he's the first pitcher to have 3 starts because he started in Japan.
I like Steele. It's just so clear-cut at pitching. Like, he would be the one that I might try to get off of just because how pesky the Athletics were last year and how pesky they've shown to be throughout the beginning of the season other than really last night. So
we just got the Guardians and the Tigers, by the way. Those lineups just dropped. Give a refresh to the lineups page. They should be popping up shortly. Atlanta and the Dodgers, that is our hammer game, 10-10. We talked about this earlier in the show. I guess that's from a pitching perspective. We were talking about potentially pivoting off of Gilbert to Sale if your offenses are sputtering and you need a lifeline. You need a desperate hope, because everybody's going to be having Gilbert. As far as the offenses here, Dustin May, spectacular hair. What a hell of a mop there on Dustin May, taking on a terrible team right now. The Braves will be fine. I assume they'll be fine at some point, but they have sputtered. The absence of Acuna, of course, they lost Profar, so no lineup just yet, but it falls off pretty quickly. Harris, Riley, Olsen projected. Olsen's in there. I can tell you right now, Olsen's in there. He's played like 500 straight games. He's got a streak going, I think the longest streak in baseball. Olsen, Albies, Ozuna Albies, the rookie Baldwin, he's got some pop. De La Cruz, former Marlin, Kelnick, former Mariner, and Orlando Arcia. Dodgers are out. Otani, Betts, Edmund, Teoscar, Will Smith, Kike Enrique Hernandez, Rojas Pajes, and Chris Taylor. Your thoughts, where we throw in the Braves and the Dodgers?
Braves, 2.5 men. They have sputtered out the gate. I feel like they've been cursed since Strider and Acuna went down. Hopefully they get it together. Dodgers, Brockmeyer. Obviously, Dodgers are loaded with talent. They are facing Chris Sale. So I think that knocks them down a peg.
Crunch time is knocking on the door here, Bobby. Let's give a recap, though. You only have one team. This isn't wrong. There's no wrong way to play this.
I could have pushed more up there, but I don't know. Just didn't do it.
Yeah. Also, let me go ahead and give a recap. Tampa. Tampa is the only team hanging out there with
Put Toronto up there.
I thought you liked the Cubs. Now, not to force your hand here, but
What's going on up there?
Okay, we got Toronto hanging out with Tampa, hanging out with Michael Scott and Pam Beasley. Parks and Rec, it's Arizona, the Pirates, Washington, St. Louis, San Fran, and the Cubbies. Smack in the middle, Brockmire, Royals, no Vinny P is kind of a bummer. The Angels, San Diego, the Athletics, and the Dodgers, of course, no Freeman. 2.5 men hanging out with Charlie Sheen and Ashton Kutcher. We got the Yankees, Minnesota, Houston, Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, the Cavemen, the Geico Cavemen. We got the White Sox back where they belong, the Mariners, and Cleveland. Today's Television Tuesday. Bobby, I'm going to explain Television Tuesday. As I do that, think of some homers. I want some homers to give the people. Feel free to go one high, one down low, one in the middle, however you want to do it. Be as ambitious as you want to be. But today's Television Tuesday clues were Soprano. Soprano was number one. The co-star in this TV show was somebody that starred on The Sopranos, kind of a side character. Adriana, you probably watched The Sopranos. Remember Christopher Moltisanti, his girlfriend? Let's not talk about what happened to her. But, yeah, Dre De Matteo.
Who'd you get whacked by? Still whacked.
I guess we can talk about what happened to her. Yeah, she was on the, well, they had to write her off, I guess, because she was starring. This was her next job on this TV show.
She was going to go anyways, though, right? Like, she was going to get hit eventually.
I'm not sure. Probably. I assume so. Clue number 2 is Move. The character in this, I didn't watch this show, to be clear, but my understanding, I read the recap, was that they moved from New York to LA to pursue acting. 3 is Buddy. It's another word for a buddy, a friend. 4 is a spinoff. Well, the show was a spinoff of Friends. The 5th clue was not needed, but it was kangaroo. And what do you call a baby kangaroo? What's a baby kangaroo, Bobby?
I have no idea, Dean.
It's a Joey. Joey's the name of the TV show. He was one of the characters from Friends. It only lasted a couple seasons. Who's gonna homer? Who's going yard?
Kettle Marte. That's my guy.
You got anybody else, or just Ketel Marte?
Willie Adames.
Okay. Just tell me when you're done. If you're going to keep your own some my way, feel free. Is it going to give me a third, or is that it?
Where do they have to be priced?
No, whatever you want. Dealer's choice. Or you can say you can stop.
Yeah, we could stop. Wilmer Flores. I don't know. Why am I getting so many? Did we like
the
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and bring in crunch time. We got Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist. We got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, 2-time Millionaire winner, as well as Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, leader of the Juggalos, talking some basketball. Basketball 7:30, baseball lock 7:05. Crunch time right now. Got to give props to War Eagle, Dave. Are we excited about the college basketball? I mean, do you watch this? Do you care?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I care about Auburn, and the town has been absolutely nuts this year with basketball. So I care on behalf of the entire town of Auburn. Basketball's not my thing, but when you get to this point, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Final Four. You'll be tuning in for sure. All right. Roth, how we doing? Everything good?
Yeah. I didn't realize Cheese and I were beefing because I got Houston. So I'm repping for H-Town.
Ooh, and Chop.
We could end up, in a championship matchup here.
I'm pretty set on putting the smackdown on Meansy and his Duke team in the finals. But if you want to take care of business, that's fine. It's
Either way,
important to me that he is disappointed one way or another.
If Houston wins and the Gators lose, I think I win the RotoGrinders pool, by the way.
Oh,
so that's what we really care about.
Yeah, those are not the likely outcomes, but I'm live, Dean. I'm live.
Hey, by the way, Dean and Bobby, hello.
Hi, Dave. Yeah.
How are you?
It's been a long time. Yeah.
It's been a while. Bobby is a little incognito. If his name wasn't up there, I would not have known who was on the show if I didn't have the sound on. But you look fantastic.
He's on the lamb.
Thanks, Cheese. Yeah, I'm on the lamb.
He's throwing off the authorities with the mustache.
He's in Kirk's old house.
I sold him my place, Dave. I got rid of it. I sold him my place.
Looks good. So are you doing the piano now, Bobby? Kirk used to Really make us
I
happy.
can dabble a
Man,
little bit.
I
can
used to
dabble a
tickle
little
the
bit.
ivories. Bobby tickles other things. I don't know.
Seamless segue. I don't know how to get out of that, but myself and Bobby, we're going to get out of here. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. You got 35 minutes till baseball. You have an hour until basketball. That was Bobby Gomes. This is Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. And it's two of the sharpest minds in the industry. Kirkdiese in the house. What up, Kirk?
So I'm like so excited to be here. Half of me is so excited to be here. I'm with Dave talking baseball, which is both of our passions. And then they throw this NBA stuff at me, and I was like, oh, I got another host to take care of that with me too. And I'm hoping Dave is prepared for the NBA slate.
I've heard of several of these people. I'm gonna guess. We'll find out, but I bet.
Let's get it.
We got Cheese Day Potts. He is, as we mentioned, a baseball connoisseur, but maybe you'll hang out for a little bit after the baseball talk. What's up, Cheese? How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, I love late season NBA because I don't even pay the slightest of attention, and there's always people that I've quite literally never heard of that are like the best plays. I don't know if that's the case, but
no. To be fair, that even happens to me, and I follow NBA. Like towards the end of the season, you get some dudes that they're the 13th man on the roster here who's suddenly starting. Well, we don't have a lot of time here because we've got baseball lock kind of coming up. Then we've got some time to talk hoops after that. We might stick around until basketball lock. Probably not. Yeah, thanks. I got 2 kids. My wife is leaving.
Yeah,
they were just going to be sitting there sad.
Above my pay grade.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm glad we're in agreement there. Let's dive into it. We are starting with baseball, and we get to start with a weather announcement. Play pitchers in Chicago. That's it. Yeah, that's right. There's actually probably not going to be any rain. Maybe in Sacramento, you get a rain delay for Oakland, but I doubt it. But Cheese, I want to play pitchers, man. I want to play pitchers in Chicago, and I hope that there's someone pitching there who is good in Chicago.
Yeah, good is not the word, but okay is the word. And so like an okay pitcher against the White Sox in this weather, even though the White Sox have been actually, good a couple times early season, Simeon Woods Richardson is playable. And even the random cheap White Sox guy in his MLB debut is quite playable. It's really the only cheap pitcher that I would consider. So I would not yell at you if you played 2 pitchers in that game, even though they're not great.
Yeah. But the weather is, in case you missed it, it's 40 something degrees, like low 40s, and winds are blowing in at 15 to 20 miles per hour. If this was Wrigley, the total would be set at 3.5 and the under would hit. It's not Wrigley, but it's still really, really good pitching weather. So just note that is my favorite play in the slate. I also like any under you can get your hands on in that game. And hopefully I am right. And they don't have torpedo bats to cut through the wind. With that, let's just dive into the slate. Cheese, you kind of let us off. Why don't you keep rolling here with your favorite pitchers?
So essentially, we've got a very clear, obvious. There's only one clear chalk play on the whole slate. That's Logan Gilbert. He's way too cheap on DraftKings. I wouldn't say he's too cheap on FanDuel, but you can get him. And it's not even close. You should just play him. Mm-hmm. If you can't afford him on FanDuel, I think Justin Steele is probably the next highest owned and the next best option. I think other than a couple of pivots to Chris Sale, that's my entire FanDuel pool. Now I didn't super MME on FanDuel today. I have like 10 lineups, but I have nothing but Gilbert, Sale, and Steele. And even if I had 150, I'd probably be at, 90% of those 3 guys, honestly.
But those were not the guys in Chicago.
No, you don't need, you can afford better pitcher. You still want a good pitcher over a worse pitcher just because of the weather. We care about you a lot, Kevin, but
I'm
still
hurt,
play a better pitcher. And they're not Woods Richardson, the Minnesota pitcher, is not cheap on FanDuel. He's more playable on DraftKings where you're getting a bit of a discount.
Okay.
Moving over to DraftKings, I still don't really need those pitchers with the way the salary is. For the most part, I'm playing Gilbert and Steele with some Sale sprinkled in. I also like Logan Webb a pretty good bit, and I have a little bit of Michael King. All those other mid-tier guys, like they're all fine, and I would not be, too upset if I ended up with a little bit of all these like Barrios and Corbin Burns and Dustin May and Severino, but I don't. If I have any of them, it's an accident. So most of my pool is still Gilbert, Steele, and Sale with a little bit more Logan Webb thrown in. But Woods Richardson is my favorite play under 8,000. And then it's totally viable to play a little bit of Shane Smith. That's the White Sox pitcher, 6,500. He's not some superstar prospect, but he looks okay. And he does get, the help from the weather. But there's not many lineups where I need it. And it's still not a good matchup. And we have no idea if he's good. Yeah. So ideally, I don't think you need to really overthink it at pitcher. You can overthink it with bats all day because they're kind of spread out, but just play Gilbert and Steele and Sale and maybe Logan Webb. And that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Good stuff. Kirk, what are you doing?
Yeah. So what I'm doing, so I agree with most of the same stuff that Dave says. Logan Gilbert, clearly the top. Justin Steele is my favorite pitcher on the slate personally, just because of the matchup and the price tag. There's the top half of the Oakland lineup. Oakland's like sneaky better than what a lot of people think, but top half of their lineup is tough, but that also comes with a lot of strikeouts. And then the bottom half of that lineup is dog water. So I Steele, he was, his command was off. This is now his third start. I expect him to ramp up more, be ready, the command, get that under control and throw a really good outing. Plus he plays DFS. So you got to give him he's in the DFS scene a little bit. So
okay,
yeah, you got to give him
that.
a bump for that. But other than that, I'm not messing around with Corbin Burns. The strikeouts are never there. There's too many torpedo bats in that lineup. I don't want to go and try to see if he figures it out all of a sudden against the Yankees. Barrios, I'm out on. Just awful in his first start. I like Washington offense is good. Logan Webb I could get behind. I could get behind Casey Mize. I actually would choose Shane Smith over Simeon Woods Richardson. You get the cheaper price tag. The kid threw with a lot of velocity in the spring training. So and there's kind of like been like a lot of buzz about him. So like I kept hearing the name. So I'm ready to ramp that up in this kind of weather since you gave it the go there. So he would be the guy I would play over Woods Richardson, but I could be wrong there. But yeah, it's mostly just Logan Gilbert and Justin Steele for me. And then let's pick our stacks and our bats.
Yeah. Okay. Juice says your favorite two pitchers with the highest strikeout upside on DK. Cheese, that was actually weirdly for you. I don't think that needed to be person specific, but it was. Cheese, two highest pitchers with strikeout upside.
I mean, the highest strikeout upside is still Chris Sale, even against the Dodgers. And second is Logan Gilbert. That's why those are the guys.
Okay. Good answer. Let's talk about the bats. Let's talk about the stacks. Kirkwood, you get to lead us off there. I saw Tampa Bay was up. I had never seen Tampa in the top tier for stacks. Nobody stacks Tampa. And I think maybe we get to do it. Maybe. Yeah.
So they're facing a jabroni and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm sure Dave would agree a little bit with Harrington on the mound. And the problem with Tampa is I have no idea how much pinch hit risk there is across this lineup, but I know there is some. I just don't know where to peg it all. But they did make it. We got the Mangum scored he broke the slate last night, and he's 2.5K, and now he's batting fourth. So that looks like a pretty good value play. But the top half of the lineup, Caminero is a great play. Brandon Lau is a great play. Yandy Diaz, I'm fine either way. But 2, 3, and then if you need the value for 4, it's just really easy to play all that, and you get a lot of the upside with Lau and Caminero. But they scored a bunch of runs yesterday. They're in just as good of a matchup today, so that's why they're popping. Me personally, I'm a little kind of off the board. I love the Diamondbacks as a stack, and I love the Padres as a stack. I know Dave. I think they're in his mid tier today. I was reading in the article. I think, but probably upper high end of the mid tier. But
it's really just the high salaries that keep him out of the top tier.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is Dave Silver stack. What I can't believe what they did to Tortellini Tuesday. They don't play. Vinny P doesn't make the lineup on Tortellini Tuesday.
He found an all-you-can-eat place down the road, so it was kind of a last-minute scratch, I assume.
Yeah, but those are my stacks.
Okay. Cheese, I feel like you might have different thoughts and different answers, which is kind of fun.
Kind of, but I think we're too high on the Rays as an industry. So the thing about Thomas Harrington is he's actually like a pretty elite prospect, like borderline elite. I don't think he's there yet. Like, I think he's going to be slow to the party. I don't think he's going to come out and dominate. But he's supposed to be good. And the Rays are not good. What I like about the Rays is they have some very cheap bats. Like, I'm playing Misner and Mangum because they're basically free and they have talent. And I like Brandon Lau. So I have some mini stacks. And I certainly have some Rays because I have enough lineups on DK. But I'm very willing to be under on the Rays. Just when a guy's a prospect, you never know when he comes out just with all the juice flowing his first start. And I don't know, there is potential with him. My favorite stack by far is the Royals, even without Vinny P in there. That just makes him cheaper. I like Washington against Berrios a good bit. Going back to the Cubs again tonight. Like the Padres. I am good with the Diamondbacks. Those are the main ones, but I do have almost everybody as I'm going to keep doing through the early part of the season.
Sure. Okay. Cheese, I want to give you a shout out. I saw a message from Chris Longo. He says, Cheese's daily advice keeps winning me money on strikeouts on FanDuel.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
And I know nothing about what strikeouts on FanDuel even means, but I'm glad to help.
Whatever you're doing for. Oh, look, he just made another comment. Thanks. Your pitcher picks are elevating my bankroll. So there you go. You got double
Excellent.
compliments there. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube and appreciating the free content, hit us with that thumbs up. We're going to go around the horn, go position by position, but we want the likes. We want the eyeballs. Cheese, I want the catchers.
All right. So catcher really is always kind of okay. I think the William Contreras, the Brewers Contreras, is one of the top plays on the slate. I like Cal Raleigh as well, and I love Salvador Perez. I was going to have a lot of Logan O'Hoppe. He's out of the lineup. And I do have some Travis d'Arnaud in his place. But I also switched to more Keeper Ruiz and then just kind of random guys in the stack. But really Contreras is kind of a standout for me if you can get up to him.
Okay. Kirkwood, anything you want to add there at catcher? If not, you can take us to first.
Catcher, I get the same guys. It's Contreras at the top, and that's what I'm planning. The rest are just with my stacks. I'll say that the cheap ones are Kirk again. Little pudgy, short Kirk.
The bowling ball.
Yeah. Alejandro Kirk. Yeah. 3,100. Keeper Ruiz is 3,600. I like that game. I think there's upside for both teams in that game, Toronto and Washington. And then obviously I like Perez, like Dave and Contreras. So I'll take it over to first. First, my favorite is Vlad. He's got a homer soon enough. I'm sick of it. I needed one last night from him, but just got a double. But anyways, Vlad is in a good matchup. Sure, Williams looked good the last couple seasons, mainly last year. But this is a guy that we've always attacked for power, and I'll continue to attack him for power this season. So I like that. Pavin Smith is a cheap Arizona bat. I love Arizona because Warren we haven't seen a ton from Warren, but what we have seen is that he's really not so great against left-handed hitters. You get the Mickey Mouse ballpark for lefties in Yankee Stadium. The wind's blowing out there a little bit. Yes, it's cold, like you mentioned in your write-up, Roth. But the the ball's been flying out of there with these torpedo bets anyway. So I like, and I like about the Diamondbacks is that you get the speed. There's so much speed in the lineup too that you get upside with still on the base paths with this team. But like, so then I'll go the next one. Josh Naylor is the more expensive version of Smith, and Smith might be a guy that gets pinch hit for at some point. But Naylor is probably my top play besides Vlad, and then I'll let Dave do the rest. Obviously, you can play Shohei Ohtani, Michael Bush, guys like that. But
sure. Okay. Cheese, your thoughts first, if there's anything different, and then take me to second after that, please.
I do like some Matt Olson and Rhys Hoskins, along with the stuff Kirk mentioned. I'm under on Vlad. I say under. I'm not sure that Vlad will be super popular just because of the price, even though everyone would rank him as the top guy. I'm really fascinated to see Trevor Williams this year. Like, he's been, like, last year, it was small sample. He was so ridiculously good. Like, it has to be fluky. And then the year before that, he was just normal Trevor Williams. So, like, I'm not scared of Trevor Williams, but I don't feel like I have to spend up for Vlad, given that there's other guys to like there.
Yeah. Okay. Then do we go to second?
We'll go to second now. How about that?
Okay.
It's actually an okay day for second base, which is usually the dead spot, but it's really not the dead spot today. If you have salary, I would play Ketel Marte. If you can't get up there, he's pretty reachable on FanDuel, but on DK, it's kind of tough. I would go to Brandon Lau in the mid-tier, but you can save more than that if you want. Like, you got Andres Jimenez, Louis Garcia, Michael Massey, the Cardinals guys with Gorman and Donovan. I like all those players pretty well. I've got a little Ozzy Albies as well. That's a pretty good chunk of names for what we usually get from second base.
It is indeed. All right, Kirkwood, any thoughts at second? And if not, you can go to third.
Yep, Ketel Marte is my favorite. Jimenez, I like. He's already three homers already out of nowhere. This isn't a guy who's usually had power, but he also steals bases, so I like that. Brandon Lau's homered already, and he, the thing about Harrington on Pitt, like, he's a command guy, and his velocity is he throws like 91 or 92. So, like, give me like a high strikeout guy like Brandon Lau, who when he connects, usually goes pretty far. So I like that. Yeah, those are the plays, and then I'll take it over. Did you say short or third?
Third.
Okay, third. I love Machado. We've always taken him against lefties. Allen is just horrendous. Well, I didn't think he was going to make the Cleveland roster this season, and he did, and I'm going to attack him. I don't think he's very good at all. And Machado is one of the guys using a torpedo bat. So he might be my torpedo play of the day. Other than that, Matt Chapman, Junior Caminero, we're hunting home runs here. The third is pretty stacked, like, kind of. Eugenio Suarez had a monster game. I like the Diamondbacks, as I already said. I can play him. And then, believe it or not, I still like Nolan Arenado. I think he's going to have a better season this season than last season. And batting cleanup for 3,900 against out to pasture Hendricks, who, it's like Anthony Rendon. You go out to the Angels to retire, to have a nice life out there in California, and your last steps. And that's what I think with Hendricks here, and Arenado is going to take him. Your last steps, you mean like in your career, not like your actual final who knows? Last steps before the grave. All right, just checking.
ERA of 6 and just walk into the ocean.
Cheese, what are we doing? If you want to add anything at third, and then you can take us to short.
Not too much. I'm totally on board with Machado. He's my favorite play there. Love him today. And then I like some Matt Chapman and Austin Riley. I really like that sort of mid-tier bucket right there.
Okay, how about short?
Bobby Witt is my favorite play on the whole slate, and CJ Abrams is a fairly close behind second place. I'm fine with some O'Neal Cruz on FanDuel. I like Willie Adames going just a little bit cheaper, and that's kind of it. Like, I like Witt and Adames so much that I don't want to go out of my way to play anything else unless it's in a stack.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Kirk, anything you want to add there at shortstop? She's only put down a couple names.
Yep. First of all, it's crazy that Dave is going to play Bobby Witt outside. He's got horrible home road splits. He's got the horrible road splits.
Oh no,
just kidding.
I'm out.
Yeah. CJ Abrams is my guy. I like Bobby Witt, obviously. I like Willie Adames. Swanson is another torpedo bat user. Bo Bichette, Carlos Correa, and that is it. Although I have one out there play that I'm playing, and it's actually, I should have mentioned it for third base. I'm playing Paul DeJong tonight, and it's only because of the price tag. I'm trying to steal a homer in that game.
Yeah. Okay. Take me to the outfield then.
All right. Outfield. My favorite play is Fernando Tatis. I told you my feelings on Logan Allen, and he's my number one bat. Corbin Carroll would be my number two, probably. Kyle Tucker's right there also. Both expensive. I think Carroll can get there both ways on the base paths or using the power to the short porch in right field. Other than that, I mean, of course you can play Aaron Judge against Corbin Burns. And the cheap guy is Mangum for Tampa. And then I've been told Mike Trout is washed. Because those rumors are buzzing after, it's Devers is done and broken. Trout is washed, and Santander will never hit a home run. That's what's been going on in my group chats lately right now. But play Mike Trout. He's probably going to be just fine.
Okay. You want to find out. Cheese, you going to find out about Mike Trout?
Yeah, I'm fine with Mike Trout. It's not relevant on this slate. I am worried about Devers, not long term, but short term. But as far as outfield, it's jam packed up top. I also have Tatis at the top of the list, followed by Tucker, and then probably Trout next, and then Carroll. I like James Wood a ton, especially on FanDuel with that discount. Got Jackson Churios, another guy I like a lot. The two cheap Tampa bets. Cheap Tampa bets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the old Tampa bets.
Yep, the cheap Champas, Wisner and Mangum. I have a little more Wisner than Mangum. I think Magnum. I really want to call him Magnum. It's really hard to get that right. He's probably going to be a better real life hitter as far as average, but Wisner has more. Wisner and Misner. These guys' names are impossible for the Teep Champa bats. I'm in midseason form. Misner has a little more power. Mangum is going to be the better contact bat. Boy, that did not go well. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The cheaper Royals, Renfroe, Melendez, I like as well.
Yeah. Okay, boys, we need some home run calls. So we have. Kirkwood didn't need to know that. I do need to know your home run calls, Kirkwood. What do you got here?
I didn't know you were reading that. Yeah.
That's my job, is to read the chat, unfortunately, sometimes. Give me something up top and something at the bottom here that you like hitting up.
Oh, you need the tiny hands, Roth. That's why you need. I like Manny Machado, torpedo dong of the day. So I like that a lot. I don't know. Let's look at my lineup. And so Willie Adames is going to homer, and Sawinski against Shane Baz in Tampa Bay, getting the leadoff spot for the Pirates. You're hoping for a dong out of him.
Okay,
that's one of the strangest looking leadoff hitters of all time. I mean, I'm fine with it. Easy, and I think it's a reasonable home run call. It's not what you expect to see, but good for him.
He stole a bag, I think. He's like mid. He's just like mid everything.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm not opposed to it. It's just I would not have had that on my bingo card preseason.
You got some names, Cheese?
Sure I do. Bobby Witt up top.
Sure.
Mid tier. How about Who counts as mid-tier? Michael Bush. And then cheaper, Nolan Gorman.
Okay. Got an important question from Matt. Who's getting channel caked? Geez, who of all the pitchers that will get channel caked, and I think we're maybe into the back end of most of these rotations here, who is getting the most channel caked tonight?
What's interesting, we are at the back end of about half the rotations, but there really aren't any really, truly awful pitchers tonight. So it's conceivable the answer is no one. It really is. But I would say it's Logan Allen. Okay. That's why we've been talking about Machado and Tatis.
Yeah. Kirk, are you in agreement there? If somebody's getting channel caked?
Logan Allen. And then the other guy would probably be Chad Patrick, because we don't really know anything about this guy. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Producer Steve in the chat says Senga is getting channel cake tonight.
Well, that game already started. Maybe he already is.
Is he? Yeah.
Wow. It's hard to give up 2 runs to the Marlins already, but I guess he's doing
all right. Let's see. We're going to take some questions here if we've got them, and then we will pivot into NBA. And then Chief, you can Cheese, you can just drop off, whenever. But we're getting some baseball questions first, so don't go anywhere. FanDuel single entry Cheese for a one-off, Adames or Abrams?
I very much like them both. I prefer Abrams, but I don't think you're going wrong either way.
Okay, very good. I want to make sure that the folks out there are getting the very best deal in the industry. In order to do that, got to sign up for RotoGrinders Pro Premium here. The MLB DFS annual option, $425. You get the whole season. That's pretty good for baseball. But we dropped the price of Combo Pro to match that, so you can get all the sports for $425 for the next month. So it's Combo Pro 6-month, full access to our content tools and projections for every sport except NASCAR at a cheaper price than the monthly option. You actually save about 35% if you just pay for the whole 6 months ahead of time. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. Let's do some more QQs in the YouTube. FanDuel cash in the outfield at 3,300 Cheese.
33 on FanDuel. Right off the top of my head, James Wood is 3,200, and I love him. You could probably do Newt Bar or Churio. I like James Wood.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Favorite pitcher, Kirkwood. This is for you. FanDuel GPP 8,600 or less.
How much is Steele?
87.
So let's say. Sorry, I just had to pull that up.
I know who Roth would say.
It's one of the dudes in the game.
Yeah.
It's
one of them's 80s.
Simeon Woods Richardson. I would say go down even lower and play Shane Smith.
Okay. Let's see what else we've got. By the way, my plan is to take baseball questions until baseball lock, and then we will go to NBA, and we'll just kind of knock it out real fast. DKGPP, Kirkwood, Naylor or Olsen?
I'm on Naylor, so I got to say Naylor.
Okay. Scrolling down. Cheese, I'm playing Arizona, San Francisco stack in a single entry GPP. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that sounds very good.
Yeah. Quick note that Cat is out if you are playing some NBA. So Kirkwood, make note of that. That means what's the dude on the Knicks who rebounds?
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah. No, I was thinking Hart with a triple double. Triple double from my boy Hart. Let's see. Where else? Sorry. How is James Wood 3-2? Is that surprisingly cheap? Surprisingly expensive? I don't know who James Wood is.
I mean, not for FanDuel. Like it's not unusual at all for pretty good outfielders to be in the low to mid 3Ks for a while. And he's still not some proven quantity. I mean, he's only played like 80 games and he strikes out. So, I mean, it's not an egregious price, but if he keeps hitting, it'll go up.
Yeah. Gianna Navarro once had a good 80 games and was an all-star. And he was really bad at baseball. But
Look at that name you're pulling out.
Yeah, he was. I had his jersey, the old Gianna Navarro jersey. I was the only one who ever purchased it. Favorite cash plays on DK in the outfield, Kirkwood?
Sure. Well, Tatis, number one. And Sorry, I'm just checking. Sawinski is a cash play leading off. And so is Mangum he's a cheapie. That helps build overall lineups. Yeah.
Okay. Dwayne says, hey, 20-mile-per-hour winds out to right in LA. And yes, it is very windy in LA, and it does look like they're blowing out to right. Tampa has good hitting weather. LA has pretty good hitting weather. It's kind of cold, but the winds are nice. Everywhere else does not have good hitting weather. In particular, Chicago, where the hitting weather is absolutely abysmal.
I'll tell you, one week in, I'm not used to Tampa being outdoors. Like it's hard to wrap your head around that. We'll get there.
Yeah, it's different. So far, we haven't got screwed by storms, which is nice, but it's coming. It'll happen. Marte or Jimenez at second, Cheese?
I mean, definitely Marte if you got the salary.
Yeah. Let's see. Bogarts or Swanson, Cheese?
Slightly into Swanson.
Let's see. Kirkwood. Peter Porker says, DK GPP, your best pitcher under 8,200 on DK.
It is. Sorry, I was looking. I don't have I had the wrong prices.
8,200 DK.
Casey Mize is my guy. He's 7,500. But you could say Simeon Woods Richardson. I'm just not on him tonight. But you like him because of the weather for sure. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those guys.
Okay. Cubs fan says, Kirk, Cubs stack with Swanson and Mize, or Cubs stack with Witt one-off and Shane Smith?
Yeah, that just sounds more fun. Option 2.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see what else we've got here. Cheese, Gilbert and a Cubs Padres stack for me on FanDuel. Sounds okay?
Sounds glorious. Yeah.
Okay. Captain America says Marte or Jazz?
Marte.
I mean, yeah, Marte over everyone at second if you have the salary.
Yeah. Okay. Garfield in the old YouTube, in the Discord says DK GPP, Cheese, Alvarez, Rogers, or Naylor and Marte?
Naylor's Marte.
Very good. We're doing pretty good, knocking out all these questions. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. We're getting close to pivot to basketball. If we don't get any more questions, I'll give it another 30 seconds or so. See if the people can get some QQs in. Cheese, what are the dinner plans tonight?
So I gotta be somewhere pretty soon. So it's just gonna be drive-through Chick-fil-A.
Nice.
I coach a kids band on Tuesday nights, and we got their concert coming up in about 6 weeks. I
you gotta make sure they're all
ready. Yep.
What kind of band are we talking about here? Is this like heavy
metal? It's a rock band. Yeah, like they're doing like a Metallica song and an Alice in Chains song.
Oh, right.
A couple more poppy things, but yeah, Kirk and I would jam.
Yes, this is perfect jug. I mean, I'm sure you tell them all about the Jug Nation and being at the gathering with me and that night we were together. Yeah, gathering of the Juggalos.
Right. That sounds fun. All right. Well, we'll let you get out of here very shortly. In fact, I waited for questions. We didn't get any more questions, so I think, Cheese, you can bounce on out of here. We will call it baseball. Here we go, Cheese. Favorite first baseman in DK Cash?
Assuming that Vlad does not fit comfortably, next choice would be Naylor, or cheaper, I would probably do Michael Bush.
Okay. Cheese, is it crazy to play Burns against the Torpedoes?
I wouldn't say crazy. I don't like it. But I wouldn't go so far as to say crazy.
Okay, and then we hit the lock. Last question, Cheese, is a Guardian stack 2 off the wall in a DK tournament?
I mean, I have like 2 or 3 in the big tournament. No, it's not 2 off the wall. It's not. I mean, it's very low probability, but I think it's viable.
Okay. Good stuff. With that, we have answered all the questions and we've talked the baseball. Cheese has got a school of rock, these kids. So I think it is time to bounce, Cheese. We will see you again.
Yeah, you guys enjoy talking about people I've never heard of. And
you and me both.
Yeah.
we'll be on Roth. You got to be up early tomorrow. We got an early start.
I appreciate you letting me know that. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see you then.
Okay.
Great to see you, Kirk. Happy baseball.
Hey, Dave, thank you. Can't wait to do a just strictly baseball show soon with you.
All right.
Yeah.
We will see you soon.
All right. Later, Cheese.
All right. See you.
And with that, we pivot. We are into some hoops. I have not looked at a whole lot in basketball. I don't think many people have. But here we are, Kirkwood. We know the cat is out. Is there anything else we need to know as we're just kind of starting this lineup construction here? We got 23 minutes until lock.
I'm just looking now. So I guess the biggest news so far that dropped recently was Cat being out, Kuminga being out, Yabusele being out, and Bradley Beal being out. So that definitely opens up some things. The Suns are an absolute hot mess right now, but they need every game, and Devin Booker should have the most insane role tonight. Now, they're a train wreck of a team.
Yeah.
So those are the key situations.
Okay. Well, let's dive right into it. Point guard on FanDuel. What do you like? I saw someone in the chat say Blanton 100% owned, or Banton 100% owned.
Let's see here. All right. It takes me a second. It's tough to do two shows at once here, two different subjects. So, okay. Yeah. Banton is the absolute chalk right now. He's going to be 75% plus on FanDuel. He's 4,400. All the key players that affect him are out. So let me pull that up here. Hold on. So that's Shaden Sharp. Hold on. Where the heck did my list go? Okay, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons are both out, and Jeremy Grant is out. Sharp is in, but Banton should have a massive role. He's 4,400. No, he's 3,300 on DK. He's 4,400 on FanDuel. The dude crushes at the end of the season every year. This is his spot. So he's the best play. Ownership, you just suck it up and you eat ownership. And you can fade him a little bit, but so come in a little bit under. But you're probably going to want him in your lineup, even if it is just one lineup. Other than that, DeLon Wright is going to be like chalky. He's 4,600 for the Knicks. I'd be out on him. I would, come under on him. I just don't see the upside. He's playing with a bunch of other guys that have high usage and whatnot. He'll be fine probably. I just don't think he's breaking a slate. Other than that, I think like Steph Curry is a good play. This Golden State Memphis game should play pretty strong. They both should be competing hard in this one. They, especially Memphis needs it badly. So I think Steph and Ja are both awesome. Pozinski is potential in play. Trae Young on the other side of the Portland game. I think, you get the value on the other side. You're going to want to run it back. Trae Young's probably the guy you're going to want to use. So like that. Then there's the Bulls, who are a train wreck themselves, but Kobe White should see all the usage you can get with Josh Giddey. Those two are both playable against Toronto. I'd probably play one or the other, not together, but and Giddey's price at 9,700 is going to be a tough pill to swallow, but we have plenty of value, so that he's there. Yeah. And then other than that, like maybe Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, it's that interesting balance of like, do I go with the super cheap guys who are definitely going to smash, or do I pay up and get someone who could get me 70 fantasy points? You're kind of juggling that this time of year. What are you doing at shooting guard? You're paying up. You're getting a dude who can score you 70 points.
Well, Bannon is also shooting guard eligible to make him even more popular. Shaden Sharp now is the guy that's small forward or shooting guard eligible. Both have tremendous upside. Sharp's price is higher, but Sharp is a little bit more dynamic and more of a natural scorer and electric dunker and whatnot. But I like them both. Anthony Edwards against the Nuggets. That's another good game tonight. Booker, as I said, he's shooting guard. should have the most insane role, but they might just get funnel caked, as the chat likes to say here. So if you have strong feelings that they're gonna get funnel caked, get blown out against Milwaukee, then don't play him. But Grayson Allen looks like now he's going to get a ton of minutes. They just don't have much here. So Grayson Allen should have a really strong role too, and he's only 4,100. He's also small forward eligible. Kamara is another name on Portland that should do really well. Like playing him with one of Shaden Sharp or Banton, but you could play him with either of them for sure. Then we're back to like Kobe White. We're back to Dyson Daniels again, and Mikal Bridges for sure for the Knicks now that Cat's out.
Okay, small forward.
It's going to be a lot of the same names: Sharp, Anthony Edwards, Mikal Bridges, Denny Avdia for Portland, 8,300 strong play. With this Golden State Memphis game being kind of a key game here, Jimmy Butler, probably a tuned in Jimmy Butler should play well in this spot. 8,100, like him. Love Devin Booker. If you think this game stays remotely, possibly close, I think I would just suck it out. I definitely would want some Booker tonight for sure. Yeah. But then other than that, you got the Knicks guys: Anunoby, Josh Hart. Sorry about my boy, and then. Grayson Allen again.
Okay, power forward.
Power forward is Precious Achiuwa is now going to see 25 plus minutes, may get into the 30 minutes with Cat out. 4,100 strong play. Giannis, you can afford him. There's value all over the place. 12-1 on the if you think I haven't tried. Toy around with playing Giannis and Booker together, and I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah.
But it is kind of pricey. But definitely like Giannis, Denny Avdia again, Jimmy Butler again, Anunoby and Hart. Take your pick. Roth's going with Hart for a little bit of extra rebound upside for the triple dub. And then there's Okongwu on the Atlanta side against Portland in that game. That's good. And then Jaden McDaniels. Sneaky kind of he's not really sneaky anymore. Guy's solid. 5,700 is great FanDuel scoring play, steals and blocks. So love that.
Did we talk about Brunson?
He's out.
Oh, wow. Hart triple double smash. All right. I feel confident. All right. Center, what do we like?
Oh, let me just double check that. Like for some reason he's not all of a sudden back and I missed that. Yeah, he's definitely out. Yeah.
All right. What are we doing at center?
Trying to mess me up here, Roth.
Sorry.
Center. All right. Precious Achiuwa again. Mitchell Robinson. So the reason why Hart may not get the rebounds a lot in this game is because now they have Mitchell Robinson back in there, and he cleans the glass up. So they do have two strong rebounding options still without Cat, but
yeah.
Whatever. Hart's still a phenomenal play. Joker, obviously, another smash stud. That's like when you said who's the guy who's going to get you 75 plus, Joker's going to do that for you, right? Gobert is 6,900 in play. Nick Richards, if you think that this Phoenix Milwaukee game is going to stay close, Nick Richards probably has a really strong role in this game. He's 4,900, and I like that. And then Draymond and maybe Klingon can do some damage.
Okay. Do we need to go through DK? Should we go through DK? Is it different in any way, shape, or form? Or are you about to say all the same things?
It's a little different, but it's just we don't really have to. Let's see if chat wants us to do it. If chat really is playing NBA right now or not.
All right. And, chat, if you want us to go through DK, you have 20 seconds to type in, yes, please do it. Or you could say, no, both of you have kids that you should go watch. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
No pressure.
Bull is definitely more in play now, I think. Someone just said no Bull love.
Yeah. Let's see. Catching up. Javier says, we got questions instead. Yeah, if you got questions, bring it. Ray says, I'm going Mitrob over Precious.
Yeah.
You on board with that?
Yep.
All right. Come here, sweet girl. Yeah, if you got your questions, bring them on in. Come here.
What the heck is that last comment?
Come here.
Yeah, hey.
Hey. Oh, she just wanted the beef jerky. That's all. Then we got the turkey jerky.
So my boy is now opening up the refrigerator on his own, and it's making. I don't have a lock to it right now, and it's making it impossible for me to do ranking or whatever. Like try to. All of a sudden, there's like cheese everywhere.
Yeah, you're done. We do like an open snack drawer where they can just go get like kind of healthy snacks on their own, and it keeps them from just digging through the fridge. But yeah, okay. You want to say bye-bye? There you go. All right. We did get a few questions, so let's get those in here. Cody Martin or Collins? Both teams have 9 dudes here.
Sorry, who was it?
It was Cody Martin or Collins of Chicago.
Collins.
Okay. Let's see what else we've got. I want to fade Achua, Mr. Richard says. Who do I play in his place in a DK single entry GPP? Is it Mitch Rob?
Yeah, Mitch Rob, or you can play he's so cheap. Yeah, Mitch Rob's the obvious.
Yeah. Or flip the build and go Joker. Let's see. Booker and Buzelis or Hart and Quickly. Booker, I love Booker, but I love Hart. This one is tough for me. I need your help.
I go Booker, Buzz.
Yeah. All right. We'll see if we got any more questions. We have not. We have answered all the questions, and it's time to go get your kid out of the fridge. I'll go get mine out of the snack drawer. Let's bounce on out of here. Good stuff, man.
All right. Appreciate it, Roth.
Yep. All right. To everybody at home, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. Our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. We will catch you tomorrow, bright and early, apparently, with the baseball show. You have been currently.